Everyone's constantly asking me what my secrets are when I do so many things in a day. Now, I talk about multitasking, but I don't actually do that much multitasking. So we're going to talk about our ability to multitask or whether we should be multitasking. In a fast-paced environment like Dubai, where professionals are juggling client calls, emails, board decisions, strategy reviews, the current crisis that we're all seeing and stressing out over, often all before 1 p.m. every day, multitasking feels like a bit of a badge of honor. But actually, most of the time, we're not multitasking at all, and that's what the science tells us. What we call multitasking is, in fact, task switching. So the brain is rapidly moving attention between two different tasks and actually not getting very much done. So rather than truly performing one task and doing it at the same time. What I've found as well is a lot of people and clients who come to see me these days say they're super stressed because they've been scrolling Instagram or X or something in search of the news or in search of what's happening or what announcements are being made. And generally they found that their productivity has reduced as much as 40%. 40% is not really a small number. Every time your focus shifts, your brain has to pause, reorient, rebuild concentration, a process that's extremely consuming of your mental energy, and it costs you your time and energy. There's obviously been research on this, so don't take my word on this. In the Journal of Experimental Psychology and work of many psychologists, where they've looked at cognitive processes and they found that even brief mental blocks created by task switching can cost significant amounts of time, and especially complex or unfamiliar tasks. Like if you see my example, I'm often reviewing legal documents or I'm looking at a case and trying to decide whether the case is viable. But for that, I have to look at emails, I have to look at documents and contracts, and I have to collate all of these things. And if I'm constantly interrupted or I'm constantly scrolling my phone, it's going to take my brain more than 23 minutes to return to my original task, all scientifically proven. And all of these interruptions in my single workday are going to multiply by the constant flow of emails and WhatsApp messages and Teams notifications that I constantly get. So what really is the answer to working in a complex and modern professional environment? For me, my personal trick is the 90-minute trick. And it's also basically turning off notifications on my phone of social media platforms during the day, or putting it on reduce interruptions, etc. Or making sure that I only access my phone from like this special online phone trick that we have on Mac, because I'm a Mac user primarily. And therefore, I'm able to process this information and not break my concentration for at least 90 minutes at a time, which means I'm less tired, I'm kind of able to do more, and I can kind of mostly make important judgments with a complete understanding and not rushing my reasoning. And obviously I found this very relevant for all of us founders, legal professionals who have high-stake decisions and high-stake review to do every day. Multitasking is not harmful. I mean, obviously it's not bad when you're not doing super important things, when it requires low cognitive effort. So listening to a podcast while walking, I'm always like filing my documents online while I'm waiting for my other iMac to load something, or combining different tasks and problems, or working in the gym these days where you're working 2 or 3 body parts on different, more dynamic movements rather than just one. But the cost of distraction to me is a big distraction. And what I want my team to do always is have deep work blocks where we have uninterrupted time over complex tasks, and we limit internal messaging. And I also mean limit internal messaging to after hours. So whilst yes, as lawyers we work 24/7 and we get a lot of messages over the weekend, I try to limit our internal team conversations, because we do focus a lot on those, the toing and froing, which is very valuable in our work, but to make sure that nobody is breaching someone else's personal space by messaging on 6 p.m. on Sunday, because that also means your brain then has to adjust and it's not getting the time off that it needs. And technology these days requires so much constant connectivity, and people who manage to retain their attention are likely to be more successful and think more strategically. So next time you're on a call, replying to an email, eating lunch at the same time, just know that science has an opinion, and that opinion is that you should really do one thing at a time. Thank you so much for watching Think Tank this week. That's my take on multitasking.